After the game Sunday, did you feel like this is kind of what you expect from this offense with Russell at the helm?
Listen, we just didn't get the end result we wanted. I thought there was a lot of good things we did. There's plenty of things we can continue to improve on. But at the end of the day, we're looking for the W. We didn't get it, but I think there's a lot of things some confidence that we can build off of and things we did on last Sunday.
Why do you think you were so successful on the deep balls? Like, what did you see that you thought?
I think it started. I think it started up front. O-line did a heck of a job protecting. Russ obviously having confidence and the guys going downfield and winning and then making those plays. I mean, some of those contested catches, whether it was Leak with the guy, kind of hanging on top of him, or just really aggressive to the football. This did a really nice job making those plays, and we're going to need those. Those are obviously big plays, scoring opportunities, and so they capitalized on them.
Mike, with Wandale, he's getting a lot more downfield opportunities than he has in the past. Is that something that Russ and Wandale approached you guys about, or was that conscious on your part?
Yeah, I think it's just, using those skill guys the best way we can, using their best assets. And Wandale, even in college, was a downfield threat. Like, he was working routes downfield. And so I think, as a young player growing in the system and then, being able to use them in multiple different ways. And that's just, part of our job as a coaching staff, putting him in those positions so he can do that.
What did you see from Jackson? Obviously, wanting to play with his first NFL action.
Yeah, he did a nice job operating in his small sample size. It was good to get him in the mix. I thought he did a nice job in the huddle and made reads and did everything he needed to do in terms of operation and execution on the field.
Does coming in for such limited action, I guess, help him develop, or how does it in that capacity? It's
certainly. I think if it's positive, I think it definitely helps. And if it's negative, it's just how you approach it. And Jackson's always done a really good job of, whether it was positive or negative, whatever that result was, of learning from it and growing from it. So I think he can take those few experiences, right, and then and just build off it. I think whether they come this week, next week, 10 weeks from now, whenever those opportunities show up, just taking advantage of them, being prepared, and being ready to go.
Like, I think Spags is top 3 in 0 blitzes the first 2 games. Talk about the challenges of facing a Spags-led defense and how you have to prepare so much differently because how aggressive he is.
Yeah, first and foremost, I have very high regard for Spags, being with him. I think he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. Their staff on defense is phenomenal. They do a hell of a job. They're well coached. Obviously, Coach Reed has been, meant a lot to me as a mentor of mine, and a guy that helped me as a young coach getting into the NFL, teach me the ways, teach me how to be a coach, teach me how to teach. Really just a great example, and it's really, it's football. It's heavy calculus. It's not football 101. It's football 501 over there, and you learn as a young coach. You get to learn a lot, see how he operates, and see how he talks to the players and teaches the players. So I had an awesome experience there, and obviously, they're the reason why I'm in this position here. So I have a lot of respect and a lot of love for the guys over there and what they mean to me from a professional and from a personal level. I'd say with Spags, the challenges with Spags, and he's gonna mix it up. He's always been aggressive, and they have the players to do it. They have smart players. They return like 10 out of the 11 starters from the past 3 years, so they play a lot of football together. They know the ins and outs of that defense. They know the adjustments to it. And so, they were up for a great challenge. So we have to really be dialed into our protection responsibilities, the run game fits, and then play with great, urgency and tempo in and out of the huddle.
Mike, not comparing the two players, but what did you learn from Mahomes' first year where he didn't play that much that you can compare to Jackson in his first year where he didn't so much?
I think the biggest thing that I learned from that was just building a structure for any young player, whether it's a quarterback or any position. It's just building a structure. How are you preparing? What does that timeline look like on a day-to-day basis? What does it look like on a weekly basis? And then, how can you take experiences from maybe some of the vets or some of the older guys on the team and see, I can maybe add that to my routine, my regimen, and build at it. And then it's about how am I going to prep for this game? It's a little bit different than college. Like, there's more that goes into it at this level. So, you have to continue to work through that process, and it's not all going to be perfect like week 1. You got this, you're into week 5, week 6. Okay, I can trim something off my menu there. I can build or add something to this, whether it's the preparation side mentally or it's the physical side of it, taking care of your body a little bit differently. So you got to go through those phases and just kind of figure out and learn what is best for you. And I'd say that in my experience with a young quarterback, when Jackson's going through that right now, when I had it with Patrick and the young guys that we had there, it's just that's the process. And just talking through them with it, sharing my experiences as a young quarterback and what I did, experiences that I had around the league. So I think that's really the main thing, is just kind of figuring out what your routine is going to be.
What was the young Mahomes like? What was he like back then?
He's very similar to he is now. It's kind of his personality. He loves ball. He's all about ball. He's a great teammate, great person to work with. So I have a lot of respect for Patrick.
You leaned on Cam a lot to carry the ball Sunday. Was that the plan going in, or was that just kind of did it evolve as he was getting hot?
Yeah, just the flow of the game. I think that's one thing our coaching staff has done a good job with, is understanding, flow of the game, getting the guys in there. I think, trying to generate some stuff out of the run game, and Scat was doing a good job, aggressive downhill, he's running hard. So, give him a few more opportunities.
What does he bring, not just to the field, but it seems like he gets everybody excited, right?
Yeah, he has a great personality, a great way about him. He does the right things off the field. He's a great teammate. And then, on the field, obviously, he's a young player. He's still perfecting his craft, but he brings it with such energy and enthusiasm that, he continues to kind of ignite guys around him as well.
Take two more. Yeah.
How impressed were you with how Bo came in, obviously, with what happened to Hudson, just him coming in and just being smooth and not really kind of making too many mistakes in really his first extended action?
Yeah, tip the cap to Bo. He did a nice job jumping in there. That's not easy, just kind of out of nowhere, but that's again, hats off to Coach Carm and James on getting those young guys ready to go play, and then for Bo, him being prepared and ready to go in there and execute and compete. For a young player, that's not easy. So I was happy on how he operated and how he went in there.
Mike, is there something specific that you guys need to do to be better in the red zone?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we got to do. We've been talking about it all this week, really. We got to get that cleaned up. There's some execution things. There's some things on my end I can do to help out. So I'd say there's a number of things that we're working through, and again, we'll practice those tomorrow and tonight, and get a look at them. But I think we have some solutions, and so we'll go work them and get the answers for our players so that they can go out there and have a good day on Sunday.
How much of a weapon can Jackson be there, though, to build up that? We obviously saw him there.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a time and a place. Every week's going to be probably a little bit different in terms of how we want to use any player, whether it's Jackson or another running back or another tight end. But we just got to go through that as a staff and figure out what fits, what doesn't fit, based on the schemes we're going to see from Spags. Does this certain player scheme work here? Or this personnel grouping work here? So just vetting it and going through it, but I wouldn't put a number count or anything on it.